All right. So, as I like to say with these things, as long as everything is working the way that it needs to be working, then we are live. So, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written in Melanin channel. Wherever this day may have found you, I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea, better known as CM Lockhart, and I write books about black girls who aren't all that nice. And as you guys can see, today I'm here with the one, the only, the amazing, the lovely Amanda Ross, and we're here to be productive, to do some writing sprints. So,
Yes.
that being said, it's been a day. How are you, Amanda, for the people? We've been talking off screen,
Um,
but for the people.
for the people. I'm okay. It's sunny here in California, which is great. It's been raining the last couple of days, and I'm just excited to write and let some sunshine in, and I feel very motivated to write today, which is great. Because how bad would it be if I was like y'all? I'm just gonna be like Dory. I'm just gonna keep swimming today.
We're gonna keep it moving.
Right. How are you?
Bruh. I'm making it. I'm making it. It's been a day, but it's been good. It's been good. I had a staycation. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, then y'all know that yesterday was my anniversary. So me and Ben, we took Monday and Tuesday off, and that was really nice, really lovely. And now I'm just kind of like, okay, crap. It's 21 days until the book has to be like done, like ready to be like off to the peoples. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So my goal, as you get, like, obviously today's Wednesday, so my goal is to get as much writing done as I possibly can in the next couple of days. So in the next 3 weeks, I guess. And March is like packed full of stuff, so I'm good. Like, I'm focused, but I'm like, oh, this is getting real, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it does. My deadline has so I've set my deadline for when I'm going to have my draft done. You and I have spoken about this, but for the people.
For the people.
So my goal is to have my draft of Carriage of the Dead, which is a gothic horror book about a girl breaking out of hell with the help of a werewolf, vampire, and a demon.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal is to have the draft of that done by April 15th. Um, I set that goal with you. You and I were chatting,
Yep.
what, almost 2 weeks ago.
I want to say, yeah.
When I tell you I have not made that much progress, so the volume of words I need to be getting daily has increased.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I'm gonna do it. We can do it, and that's why we're doing this writing sprint.
We got this.
So, yes.
Yeah. I'm at the same point because I didn't do any writing. So like my word count goal for today is 3,240 words. So I'm not going to hold you here the entire time, but my personal rule at this point is like I can't get off stream until I hit my word count goal. So yay.
I mean, I'm down for as long as possible. I do have to film my YouTube video after this, but you know what? I'm a full-time author now, so I make my own schedule.
She's
Eh,
like,
So,
we have time.
but my goal today is to finalize the scene in which my main character dies.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have not finalized that. So that is my. If I do nothing else today, it
That's
is
cool.
write this death scene that has been plaguing me since November.
Yeah.
November.
I feel you. I feel you. My goal is to get, what chapter is this? Chapter 14. The second scene of chapter 14 written so that I can move on. That, like, I'm at the part of the story where there's, oh my God, there's so much happening in this book, and the plot twist that I had to write last week, y'all, 15, just to give people time to get here, get set up, get your water, hydrate, do whatever it is that you need to do. And also let me know how long you guys want to be sprinting. I was thinking 25 or 30 minutes, at least for the first couple ones. We can up it later on depending on how long the stream goes. But Amanda, do you have a preference?
I tend to do 25 minutes. I just feel like it's 30 minutes is very leisurely, and I don't know what it is about that lack of 5 minutes, but I just tends to make me rush a lot more.
Got you. So we'll do 25 minutes, and if we need to adjust from there, we absolutely can. that being said, shout out to Afrofae, Samantha, and Essie Dean, who are all here. Hello, welcome to the chat, you guys. Hope you are doing well. Let us know what you guys are working on today, what you're hoping to accomplish, and we will go from there. Also, today is March 1st, so if you guys wanted to pre-order We Are Dying Gods, which is the second book in the Wrath of the Gods series, which I have been working on. I do have a pre-order box, and I just dropped the link in the description box below, so if you refresh this page, it should be down there. I'm doing a limited number of them, but it'll have a signed hardback. It'll also have a copy of the ebook. It'll have a scented candle that is exclusive to the book. And it will also have like other goodies like pre-order merch, bookmarks, stickers, things like that in it. So if you're into it, there's a link down in the box below. It's only available on my website because y'all know I like to sell stuff direct. So also, if you want any of the other versions of the book, you can also pre-order that too. But the pre-order box is the link that's down there. But yeah, hardbacks, paperbacks, ebooks, whatever you want, I got you. I don't have an audiobook yet, but that's okay. That's okay. But yeah. Okay.
I'm so excited about your second book.
I'm excited for your Carriage of the Dead. Like, I'm excited for you to be into like fully embracing this horror life.
This horror life. Yeah, this horror life that I'm still going to sneak some the Wiz in, like Seen in Green. I need to figure out how to do like a ghostly undead demon-y kind of Seen in Green scene. You know what I know. Yeah, it's from The Wiz. For those who haven't seen it, that scene in The Wiz where they're all wearing green, Seen in Green, then the color changes, and then it's red, and then the color changes, and then it's gold, and they're all like told, you guys are so fickle. Last week the color was pink, and that's what you were wearing, and now you're wearing whatever. It's such an iconic scene, and I want to figure out how to weave it into this book, because The Wiz is one of the inspirations in this book.
You got this. And also, I'm paying attention. I'm just trying to set up my little, like, I've been keeping track of, like, how many words I get each sprint towards my goal. So I'm trying to set it up.
I love that.
Yeah. I need accountability in multiple forms, apparently.
Listen, when I tell you I have a Notion board plus a planner plus a whiteboard that I keep track of all my tasks, it's too much. It's too much.
It's necessary. So I can show you guys. I know that like I'm small on screen, but if you're in the Discord server, then I shared this with you. But I have like this little like daily planner thing. I know it's like glaring or whatever, but basically it has like my top 3 tasks for the day, as well as like all these lines so I can handwrite the numbers for my sprints. So I syncs with my desktop. So every time I do sprints, I can just write numbers in it, and I can see it on the side for how many I'm doing and how far I'm coming along. So I'm not just sitting here like, oh yeah, I'm making progress. Wrote 5 words. Now we're up to 200 words. Chelsea, did we really make progress? Did we really make progress in this whole hour we've been sitting here? But yeah. Also, Morgan is here, so hello, welcome. Glad you could make it. Afrofae said I'm working on my novel, Chaos Bar. It's cool. It's a romantic fantasy kind of story. Love a good romantasy. Yes. And Samantha said going to start off with some admin work and hopefully get to some writing later on. Whoop whoop. Sounds good.
We love it.
Yes. So, we have about a minute before we jump into this first sprint. So, quick reminder to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Oh, that's why I had that like that. My bad. There we go. Make sure that you're doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. My mind is all over the place today, so forgive me if my thoughts are disconjointed at all. I'm trying. I don't know what I was going to say after that. We are here for the vibes. That's what we're here for at this point.
Yes. So, it's 10:15 my time.
Yes. So.
Yeah, let's get some words in.
let's get into this. So, you guys know how this works. I am going to go ahead and put on some chill hop playing in the background. And when you hear me come back on the mic, that means your time is up. Put your pencils down, share what you did with the class. So, 25 minutes on the clock. Happy sprinting, you guys.
Happy sprinting.
right, you guys, that is it for that first sprint. So, let us know what you did, how you did, all that good stuff. And also, this is your reminder to take care of yourself, do whatever it is that you need to do that. So, stretch, breathe, drink some water, get up out of your seat, etc., 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 etc. So, yeah. Amanda, how'd you do?
437 words.
Whoop, whoop.
I guess plus a note to myself of, when you realize you changed something up in the scene, I just had to go leave a note to make it make sense with what I had written previously.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. Because I have, started, not necessarily leaving notes, but, highlighting as I'm writing, details about characters where I'm just kind of like, does this make sense? Especially since, different, people from different domains have different, physical characteristics. I'm just kind of like, does this person have hazel eyes? I don't know. We're just going to put hazel. We'll highlight it. I'll double check that later to make sure it's cohesive with the world building later on. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I got 702 words that time. So.
I'd love to see it.
Me too. Because I was just like. Normally I go back and I read what I wrote previously. But this time I was just like, nah, we're just going to keep it moving. We're just going to keep it pushing. So I'm writing this scene with Sarah, and I love writing Sarah, especially when Noble is involved, because this girl got it rough. She's got it rough. But they're having a moment, and it's something that it's kind of fun for me to write, because there are so many versions of We Are the Origin, right, that I wrote prior to the actual finished version that got released, where Pine and Noble, originally the entire story was different, and Pine was a character who was part of the main core group of cast or whatever, but in the official rewrite that I went with, she ended up being someone different or whatever. But in the original version, she had this major crush on Noble. She was basically in Sarah's position, right? And so now that she's not, because Sarah's in Sarah's position, it's really kind of fun to watch them together and kind of give Pine this energy and this attitude about her, where it's just I love this for you. I'm so glad that you had your little glow up over the time that I was rewriting this story. So yeah.
I love that. Pine was one of my favorite characters, because she just comes in, says something doom and gloom or fuck shit up and goes, okay, goodbye, and then just disappears. And I love that.
Yes. I've realized that all of my stories are going to have at least one chaotically pretty person, where it's just they're gorgeous and they're chaotic, and they're just going to be ha, good luck with that, and then just disappear into the ether, and I love that for them. So yeah.
That's funny. You know what? Because I also like to think that if I were an assassin, this is a fun question. If you people watching were an assassin, what would be your style of, murking folks, if you will? I like to think that I'd be closer to Pine and just chemical warfare and just be super sciencey about it. Very creepy in that way. Mm-hmm. But what about you?
Oh no, I'm definitely Brandy. I'm sniper all day, every day. You're never going to see it coming. You're just going to be what? Why am I bleeding out? Okay, I'm talking to the gods. That's it. That's it. But
I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she was talking about how she's much more of the brute force, just, talk shit, get hit kind of person. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to say, well, that's me, and I would actually be a better assassin. And I was like, I'm sure I would be, because I'm strategic. I play the long game. I was like, I would get to know everything about you. I would know your routine. I would know your family. Yeah. I would know your workplace. I would know your allergies. And then I would use it to my advantage. And I just went on this whole long monologue basically, and by the end she was looking at me like, I don't even know who you are. I'm like,
Stranger.
exactly. Exactly. That's why I'd be a better assassin.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, I would literally be the shadow you didn't see coming. I would just be like, oh, this is the target. Okay, let's figure out where they're gonna be, and we've got one chance. We're gonna do it right. Done. Okay, time to go home, get my little meal in, so I can get my full 8 hours. Okay, we don't have time to play the long game. That's just me, though. That's just me. But yeah, let's see here. Afrofae got a page, so congrats. Essie made
But
coffee and figured out the starting point for the scene. Cool, cool. Samantha recorded today's clip for the vlog and got started on the B-roll. Good headway on the growing list of admin tasks too. Awesome. Morgan read through and commented on a chapter. She's critiquing her CP's work. Gotta love a good CP. So, just in case you guys didn't know, Amanda is my CP. This is the person I'm always talking to and sending stuff to. So, get yourself a critique partner. Changes your life for the better. Highly recommend.
yes.
And also, I love Afrofae where she's just like, ugh, Sarah. Like, I think you've gotten to that point of the story.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Actually, I guess I could talk about this now. Because something that I was doing like kind of off screen is I was looking for a new editor. And also shout out to Samantha, because I'm pretty sure that's Samantha. You are the like same Samantha that is Samantha Ryan, right? SM Ryan writes? Yeah. Anyway, found a new editor and I'm so excited about it. And it was so interesting because when I had to get in touch with my previous editor, you know, let him know that, like, you know, appreciate it, but it's very interesting having to fire someone when you're not like an employer, to be like, hi, I appreciate you, but also no thank you.
Right.
But okay, cool. So just so you guys know, Samantha is also an editor. She is my current editor, and I'm really excited to be working with her. So for sure, check out her services. I am going to give you moderator privileges. So if you want to drop your link in the chat, feel free to, for your website. But the reason I say that is because Afrofae mentioned Sarah, and I had a moment, y'all, where one of the reasons like I wanted to get a new editor, right? And I've talked about this before on different sprints and such, is that my previous editor really liked Sarah, like a lot, like a lot, and did not like Brandy, like at all. And so that brought up a lot of points of contention when I was trying to like plan out book 2 and like decide what was going to happen and what direction I was going to go in. And it was just one of those things where he was like, yeah, so Sarah should basically be the main character for the book. And I was just like, okay, what? We should do what now? And then it was just some of the suggestions that I was getting, y'all. It was wild. It was completely wild. So I'm really glad that I have a new editor. I'm so glad that I don't have someone suggesting that I make Sarah the main character of the book. And yeah, she's not getting a complete personality overhaul in book 2. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Because that's something that I have very strong feelings on, just like in general. I don't like it. I like characters who grow, but I also don't like it when they seem like a completely different person than the character that you initially met. You know? Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, I think of characters like they're people, right? Like the person you were as a child, like obviously you're going to grow and have experiences, and the way you think is going to change. But who you are fundamentally, most people don't completely change into a completely different person with a completely different overhaul of their personality like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think when you have a case where the character reads differently, it feels like a retcon, and like the
Yeah.
author, it feels like the author potentially listened to what the people were saying and then went and made changes thusly. Sometimes it can work out, if it feels organic for the character, if these suggestions or, whatever would make sense with what the character would do. But other times it does feel wild when you read a book and they present one way and then that you have not been shown as a reader that they've had experiences that would force them to become a different person.
Exactly.
If you're going to do that, the reader needs to see what they've gone through that has made them different. It shouldn't be no off-camera shit, no throwaway line of like, oh, their mom died, so now they have empathy kind of thing. I don't know why that popped in my head, but
because a
you
lot of
get
characters, their moms die.
right, right. So I feel you for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't want my characters to be inconsistent. Like, I feel like that's, for me, when I'm reading, I'm just kind of like, oh, great. I see where this is going. I don't know. Commit to the character is, like, my thought process. And, like,
Yeah.
Sarah she doesn't have ambition, you guys. I'm so sorry. Like, that's not who she is. She's not a naturally ambitious person. She's not going to be like, okay, yes, we're going to go out there and be a social activist and change the queendom. Like, that's not who she is. So I feel like if I wrote that into her character in book 2, it would be like, huh? Or if I wrote like, oh yes, suddenly Noble is returning her feelings. I feel like so many people would be like, why?
Right.
Like,
I love Noble. He's such a disaster buy, and I love it.
he's such a disaster. Literally writing a moment with him right now, and Sarah's having a moment as well because his moment is not with her, and she's just like, and it's just like, I love this for you. I love this growth that this is going to force you to have. And Noble's just living his best life because Noble's a fountain. Everybody can get a drink.
We stan a bisexual king. Yeah, I think it's important to be consistent with your characters. It's one of the reasons why I am annoyed with that Mayfair Witches show, which is what my video is going to be about. I'm going to rip it apart, and I'm so excited about this review I'm about to give. But it's one of the reasons why I try to make sure that my characters are consistent. It's one of the reasons why you have a good critique partner who can tell you if your characters are consistent.
Yes.
Thankfully, Chelsea's my critique partner to get me together when that happens. But yeah, I think it's good to have an arc. I will say it's definitely weird jumping from Zora, who was the main character in my last book in the House of Transcendence, because she was so confident and she had this one thing that was traumatic, but she was just generally so confident in herself and everything else about her. And my main character right now, that's not her. She's not like that. She's very meek. She has moments where she tries to stand up for herself, but she's in such an environment where her standing up for herself is not well received. She's not able to do it. And so instead of that pushing her to fight, it makes her suppress who she is, which is part of her journey to eventually, if that changes or not. But it's definitely weird writing that because I was really enjoying writing this confident, like, I'm that girl, Bree Runway, Megan the Stallion kind of vibes character, and now she's a is it wilting violet? Shrinking violet?
Shrinking violet, I think. Wallflower.
Yeah. One of them.
Yeah.
One of them.
No, I feel you because, like, Brandy is definitely, like, she's not, like, out and about, like, oh, look at me, but she's very much like, I know who I am. Thank you very much. Put some respect on my name, right? And I love that for her. I love it so much. And I just, like I said, one of the suggestions was to, like, strip Brandy of that and to put Sarah in a position where Brandy would be jealous of her. And I was just like, if you think that I, as a Black woman, am going to take this confident Black woman who loves herself and knows who the F she is and strip away all of her confidence and her support and make her jealous of this white girl who has no ambition, no talent, and nobody likes her and cries at every turn, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work, which is why I found another editor. So I'll have to say, this is your gentle reminder that in your writing journey, it is perfectly fine to find people who vibe with what it is that you're writing and what you're doing. And if you find someone in a group in a community, and you're just like, I think this is it, and then you get into it, and you're like, you know what, nah, homie, this ain't it. This ain't it. It's perfectly fine to readjust and realign, and keep it moving in the journey.
Yeah. And I think it's important that you, my bit of advice would also be to be authentic to your writing voice. And it's good to have people in your corner that will critique you and provide feedback that you do vibe with, because they can help you maintain your authentic voice versus surrounding by people who are constantly like, no, I don't think you should do this, and listening to them, because I think you do yourself a disservice by not listening to yourself, your characters, and what you authentically want to present them as. Um, I've had people read my book that have said, "Why are these characters so angry?" I don't know why they're so reactive in the House of Transcendence, and it's because they don't understand shade. They don't understand reading. They don't understand that characters can love each other but also roast each other all the time. And so if you don't get that, then
And I think that's the thing. And also, quick reminder: we are going to start our next sprint at the top of the hour. So this is your reminder. You've got about 3 minutes before we jump into the next sprint. Um, but like when you said that, it reminded me of the fact that, like, yeah, there are going to be people who don't get it, and I made a video talking about this where I was just like, this is why I don't query my books or whatever. But it was just like, when you say that, it just reminds me of like the reviewer who he was like, or I say he, I assume it's a I use that very, very vaguely. I don't know if it's a he, she, they. I don't know, right? You don't get that kind of information with the reviewer, but they were basically like, I didn't get the names, and I didn't get like some of the language and how it was written or whatever. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. For me, I'm like, I write books. I'm a Black person. I write books for Black people. Like, that is my target audience, and I want everyone to be able to enjoy my work. But if I had to pick, if I'm like, this is the ideal person, right? The scenario that I hope any writer who's serious about marketing their book goes through, where they're like, okay, if you're in a bookstore and you're somebody who's going to buy your book is walking through, what do they look like? How old are they? What are they searching for? What does their life look like, right? Mine is always going to be a Black woman. Maybe the ages may vary, but it's always going to be a Black woman first, and then everybody else second, right? And it was just one of those things where it was just like, yeah. And one of the things that I love, there's a moment in Karna's domain where Tara's like, I don't have to do anything but be a child of Karna and return to the gods, right? And it was one of my favorite things, because I don't know about y'all, but like in my household growing up, one of my parents' favorite things to say when they were upset was just like, I gotta do nothing but be Black and die, right? And it's just like, if you're a part of the culture, you understood that reference, right? But if not, it just seemed like, why would she say this? Where is this coming from? And also just like Brandy's relationship and how it was different, because that was one of the things that I got critiqued on in the review, is that my main character does not treat everyone equally. She does not love everyone equally. She treats Jack, who is her like life partner, differently than she treats Freya, who is the goddess that she serves. And she treats them differently from Noble, who's basically like her brother. Like, they all have different relationships with her. And apparently that was a little bit confusing for some people who picked it up. But I'm also like, do y'all treat everybody in your life the same? Because that's weird. That's a little weird energy to me.
That's weird energy. Yeah, it's levels to it, and you shouldn't be treating everybody the same. I definitely enjoy that, even though your book is second world technically, there's still so many of those references that it's like, if you know, you know. And that was one of my favorite things about reading your book, was getting those references and going,
I appreciate it. But yeah, it's just, but I say that to say that, like, I agree with you. And writing is wild, especially being Black and an author. But we are not going to continue on this rant. It is top of the hour, so we are going to jump into this next sprint as promised. So just like before, I'm going to play the chill hop, put 25 minutes on the timer, and when I come back, that means pencil downs and share with the class what you did. So That being said, happy writing, you guys. All right, you guys, that is it for that sprint. So, um, as before, let us know what you did, how you did, all of the good stuff, and yeah. Amanda, how did you do?
281. This was a slightly slower sprint for me, but I still got my words in.
Yeah, progress is progress. That's how I see it. As long as you're getting closer to the ultimate goal, then that's what matters. At least that's what I have to tell myself, especially when I'm like deleting words. Like, it's okay. This is for the greater good. It's for the greater good.
Right.
um, I got 515 that time, and I am writing this, writing the scene, and there's this character that I have to introduce who was mentioned prior, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't know if you ever have this problem where it's like you hint at a character, but then when you introduce them, you're like, okay, well, what is their personality? And it's just kind of like what I thought I had in mind for this character is just like not necessarily how they're actually interacting with this other character. And I'm like, oh, okay, you have a slightly different personality than what I imagined. So, gotta tweak this a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's just me, but it's interesting. But also, I'm like, ooh, I thought you had tall girl energy and you don't. Gotta adjust.
Okay, not tall girl energy to your friend who is fully 4'11.
Oh, okay. So that was not shade. It was literally just me being like, I really thought this girl was about to be like tall, because one of the things for me is a personal thing, right? I feel like as a tall person, whenever girls, especially in books, are described as pretty, they're like short and petite and like they're like cute, right? And so one of the things that I try to do in my book is just like I try to incorporate tall people. Like Brandy is tall. Like Najee is tall. She's like 6', 6'1", something like that. So I just want tall girls in my book, but I'm also like, this particular character, I think she's just short. Like, I think she's just short. Like, that's just who she is. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something that I try to intentionally write into my books so that, like, it's not always just, like, plus size representation. Sometimes it's just height representation, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, if it's a me thing. I'm just kind of like, I'm not 5'5". I'm not like short and like cute and demure, and I'm not looking up at all the guys. Like some guys are like eye level, or I'm looking down at them, right? So I'm just kind of like, it happens, and you're still cute, you're still beautiful, you're still powerful, you're still out here like murking people and handling business, you know. So that's my inner monologue. Thank you for listening.
Oh, no, I mean, I feel you. I mean, Zora's tall in the House of Transcendence. She's the taller woman. Wanted to provide that too, partially because I was thinking of my nieces who, my oldest niece, oh, full disclosure, she's about to be 28. Weird energy. To be an aunt to a 28-year-old.
Fair.
But she's like 5'9".
So she's my height, yeah.
5'10". Yeah, so she's pretty tall. I'm her short aunt. She specifically adds that qualifier whenever she talks about me. So I feel you on that representation. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how tall Saphira is. I think probably average height, but she's gonna be, unlike Zora, who was tall and buxom and had curves for days. I think Saphira is gonna be very like more bird boned teat.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
I feel like that also is lacking representation in books. It's like girls with all types of like body sizes. Like everyone's not going to be like tall and curvy, and you don't have to be curvy to be like beautiful, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why like Brandy, I was just like, she's got curves, but also she's an assassin. She's got like hella muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's got definition, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. There's this idea that like you can still be like strong and tall and like have, I don't say normal curves, but like have more subtle curves and still be beautiful. Like, it, I don't know. I just feel like there's this default in certain types of books where it's just like you have to be short and petite and curvy and not like other girls, and your hair is going to be super long and you're going to be like, oh, like I don't know, Bella Swan essentially, except interesting. Huh.
Yeah. Elena Gilbert vibes from Vampire Diaries definitely
Exactly.
encapsulated that, like thin but kind, subtle curves, but she still had a very snatched waist and she had this long hair. I think for me, I have shied away from writing women that are like that just because, as somebody with a triple D, as somebody that's got a big booty for my height and curly hair, I always hated reading books where it was like the sassy, I'm saying this in quotes, the sassy, the promiscuous friend was always had big titties,
Mm-hmm.
curly hair, super curvaceous. I'm like, but we can be awkward too. We
Mm-hmm.
can be, you know, like shy and introverted. We can be the girl and not have to be the friend who's lifting up the girl who is like Bella Swan, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. That's why diversity counts, and it's one of those things where it's just like for the most part, I try to stay out of like conversations on the internet when it comes to like talking about diversity or what you should or should not have and what does and does not count. Like if you're new to this channel, I'll be perfectly clear that I am very much on the team of like I feel like black characters, as in like writing the perspective of a black character as the primary voice of a book, should be reserved for black authors. Just like I feel like if you're writing an Asian character and that is the primary voice of the character, that should be reserved for Asian authors. Like allow authors space to tell and write their authentic experience in fiction the
Mm-hmm.
way that they want to. I'm definitely on that team, but I'm also like diversity is important, and it goes so much further than just like skin tone. But I feel like a lot of times that's where the conversation stops. But it's just like also you need like have people not just with glasses, but like people who have other disabilities, people who have, you know, not those who have like wheelchairs and amputees, and people who have like partial deafness or partial blindness, or even just like ADHD, like there, and just allow it to be what it is. Like diversity is so much more than just, oh, I have a black character, I have a LGBTQ character. It's not just like a
Right.
checkbox. Like people exist in multifacets, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot
And
of
I
times the
think
conversation stops a little prematurely.
I agree, and I think to my feeling on it is I completely agree. I think your primary character should reflect you in that way if you're a black author writing black characters. I also, for me, it's important to be writing bi and pan characters because I feel like when a lot of other authors, maybe even people who aren't queer, write characters, it'll be somebody, they're gay or they're lesbian, and that's it. There's not as much bi and pan representation as that I would like. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to provide that, but also writing asexual characters, writing demisexual, exploring that full spectrum of the LGBTQIA plus umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
I think is really important for people to do. And so that's why generally a lot of my characters have been under that umbrella. Saphira is bi. Um, some of the other characters in this are going to be queer as well. I think my only main character who's straight is Mercury,
Mm-hmm.
but his dad is bi as shit, so there's that representation.
And the thing is, it's just like it's simple, and it's just kind of like I also know that like as a heterosexual woman, right? Noble is bisexual, and Russ he's demisexual, and
Hmm.
part of the reason that I wrote it that way is because like they're all from Karna's domain, but Karna as the gods, he's just the most literally the god of the wind. He's just the most fluid of the gods. So because he doesn't have boundaries, that's more than just like literally like defining the land. Like literally with his children and the people who live in his realm, they don't have strict boundaries even like within themselves and among each other like they have in the other domains. That's just part of the world. But it's just like also I don't live that life. That's not something that I have experience with. So like you know this when I was writing Noble, I was just kind of like, hey, does this track, does this seem okay? Because I don't, like you said, I didn't want to fall into one of those stereotypes, especially since like you said he's a disaster buy. He's and I wanted it to be clear that like he's like this because he is like this, not because like all bisexual people are like this. He's just one character and one facet a person of a person who has a personality. Person who has a personality. There we go.
Yeah.
You know? And
Hmm.
I feel like people
Yeah.
get kind of touchy when you tell them like just ask people like if you don't know it's fine to not know, but like get someone who does know and ask questions. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think the issue comes with when you don't know and then you continue to present yourself as an authority.
Right. I think that, but then also when you do ask, be prepared for people to be honest with you
Mm-hmm.
and to give you their opinion and to check yourself. You know, with my first draft of In the House of Transcendence, there were a couple things that I wrote that I had to go, wait a minute, this is not good representation, this is not right, and you were one of the people who were radically honest with me, and it made me a better writer and made my book even better than the first draft had been. But it's having that willingness to go, okay, like
Yeah.
I know that I made this mistake, let me go ahead and fix this, or I didn't write this correctly. Um Let me fix that. So it's the willingness to both ask and receive. That's the key.
Receive. Because and I will say this because I also think that sometimes when we have these conversations, it can make it seem like, oh, it's a lot easier because like you've done this before. It's just like it's rough for everybody to receive it no matter how many times you've done it. It's really hard to pour your heart and soul into a character and writing something out and then getting to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to share it, and then receiving feedback where it's just like, okay, this is harmful even though it's not intentional. I know like your heart and your mind was in the right place, but like this representation is not what it needs to be. It sucks. It
Mm-hmm.
does. You know, and I think it does get easier when you have people that you trust, like Amanda. Obviously, I trust her, right? So it's a lot easier to receive feedback from someone like that versus like a stranger. But also, it's just like it's not easy for anyone, and I don't want to make it sound like it's super easy to just be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, your representation is really harmful for this entire community. Can you please fix it?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh shucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the way that I see it is I rather for me to get that kind of radical honesty from the people I trust, from you who I know that you it's not going to be a thing where we're not going to fuck with each other. Like you're not going to be like, "Okay, goodbye. I don't want to be your friend anymore." Versus going through with it and then missing the mark and then having complete strangers come for you and come for your book. And that's why you and I are both very vocal about having author friends, having a community, having critique partners, having other authors in your life that you trust that, as we mentioned earlier, can catch the vibe of you and your work, because that is who you should be getting that critique, those critiques for. You
Yeah.
don't want to end up like some of these authors who you can tell don't have anybody in their corner release a book and the representation is trash, and you're just like,
Yeah,
you played yourself.
I think the worst thing that you can do as an author is to claim that your book has representation and then it's harmful. And to claim that your book has diversity, and then the people who are supposed to be represented in that diversity are like, this ain't us. I don't know who you asked, I don't know who you talked to, but this ain't it, you know? I think that personally, I would just be embarrassed. Like that is the thing that I'm terrified of. Like I never want to write a character and people are like, "Yeah, it could have been great, but it wasn't." You know, because of this one
Mm-hmm.
thing that's unforgivable. You know, but that's just me. That's just me. Um,
I agree.
so we are going to go ahead and hop into this next sprint. As before, we are going to stick with 25 minutes. If you guys want to change it after this sprint, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put 25 minutes on the clock and go ahead and do whatever it is that you need to do to be productive. And we will check back in with you in 25 minutes. So happy sprinting, you guys.
Happy sprinting.
right, you guys, that is it for that sprint. So, as always, let us know what you did, how you did, all of that good stuff. Amanda.
Sorry, muted. 620.
Oop.
So that's, let me calculate that total amount.
Yeah, I've got to do some math as well. So, if you're still sprinting with us, let us know how you did, what you got accomplished in the chat while we do our math.
So, just over 1,300 words.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Love that. So, 1,300 words total or 1,300 words in the sprint?
Oh, 1,300 words total.
Okay. Okay.
Since we started, which is great. It's the most I've written in quite a while, so I'm happy.
Hey, look at that progress. Love that for you. I'm glad this is being helpful and productive, and we are accomplishing things that we set out to accomplish. I got 925 words that sprint, so we are we are ending up this scene, and I love Noble so much. You don't understand. There are just these moments that I get to write where Sarah is just kind of like, "Oh, Noble, you're here." And he was like, "Why are you like this? What? Can you please do better? Please be better." You know, and she's just like, "Oh," and it's just like her little up and down with her emotions. It's fun. I feel for her, but also it's fun. And Noble's just like, "Brett, I'm not here for positive reasons. Can we tone this down just a little bit, just a little bit?" So,
I love it. How many total words is that for you?
I have 2,142 words. So I have just over 1,100 words to go before I hit my word count. So we're getting there.
Yeah. I love how much you're loving the scene that you're writing. It makes me excited to read it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting to the part where it's just like, I don't want to say it's interesting because I think all of it is interesting, but like a lot of the earlier chapters were like gearing up for this, but I feel like this is the part of the book where I'm just like, this is where things start to like really, things that were like seeds that were sown are starting to like sprout, if that makes sense. And I'm just kind of like, we're in a different domain, and you know, we have things going on, people are growing, and this is like a really big growth arc for Sarah. And it's just kind of like left and right, she's just like, "Oh, okay, this is different. I need to like step up. I need to do better. I need to pay attention," if that makes sense. And I don't know. I like this part of her where it's like a lot of Sarah's character is just like people were kind of like ragging on her, like, "Oh my god, why are you like this?" And now she's at a point where she's finally like, "Why am I like this?" You know? And just like, it's just wanting to like do better, like, man, like literally no one can rely on me. I need to step up. And I love that for her growth, if that makes sense. So that makes me excited. And then also Noble just out here being his whole, you know, tool shed self, and just, yeah, not tool shed, garden tool. Just, yeah.
I got you.
I'm hungry. I need food. Afrofe was like, "I went to lunch. I need to do that."
Again, I love the kind of conversations we as authors have. Just how excited you are talking about your character. If anybody was listening, they'd think you were talking about your man, and you're like, no, it's a character. Or like the other day when we were talking about my book Carriage of the Dead, and as I mentioned, I'm trying to work through my character's death scene. And I was just brainstorming with Chelsea, and she goes, "Well, what if she's strangled?" And my response was, "No, no, no, I've already done a strangulation." And I was like, if I was in public and somebody heard me say that, they would think I was a killer.
Like, complete psychopath. I've already strangled someone to death.
Because it was just so flippant. Like, I've already done strangulation. Like a seasoned murderer who's like looking to change up their MO.
No, like really, that's how it is though, because it's just like towards the end of We Are the Origin, I was just like, man, how am I gonna get rid of these people? Because I'm like, she's an assassin. I've already had her just like kill people. We've already had death by poison. So like, oh, we can
Different
have
ways to die.
different ways to die, and it's one of those things where it's just like it's conversations with other authors, but also like search history, like. Yeah, like how much poison can this person actually succumb like take before they're like for the good sleep, you know? So
Yeah, the search history for this book has definitely been wild. Just to clue you in, so some of the search history has definitely been like torture methods because, this is hell, so there's 7 instead of levels or layers, it's kind of like an island chain that's all connected through this path. And each island is a different reason why you're in hell, different torture methods. So it's just been looking up torture methods from history and realizing how fucked up we as humans are to each other. So one of the methods is basically having somebody lay on the ground and planting a tree and then having somebody lay on top of that to where when the tree grows, it starts to grow through their body. Like, this is an actual thing that they'd have them lay on the ground and plant bamboo, and the bamboo would just grow up through their body. And they were just potentially maybe alive when it started to happen. Who knows? But I was like, wow, okay, making that my own, but also that is wild that that's an actual thing that's happening, and I did not have to make that up for this fucking book.
that's crazy. And it's stuff like that where I'm
Yes.
like, I think horror would be fun, but also I'm not built for it. I'm really not. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of like dark themes. Like, sure, we can sacrifice you in a ritual, but I'm not going to make a tree grow through you. Like, that's not on the bingo card for me.
You're like, ritual sacrifice? No problem. Getting a tree grown through you? Ew. Get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Get somebody else to do it.
This is where we draw the line. But let's see here. S.E. Dean said, my total for the day so far is 1,615 words. Congrats. So definitely going to be reaching today's 2,000 goal. Love that for you. And Ben asks, have you read Dante's Inferno?
I have. I bought myself the illustrated version of it. So it's like the poem and then it has all of these images as I started writing this book too. So that's been a big inspiration as well.
She's like, I got the illustrated version of the horror book. It was great.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Well, it was on sale at the bookstore I was at, and I was like, this is cool. It's all like red and black and gothic looking.
I love that for you. I'm not judging you at all. At all. I'm just kind of like, I'm not built for it. I know I'm not. I'm just going to stay wholly solidly in my lane. And like, that's your role, ma'am. I'm going to let you have it.
I would just gonna say this critique partner session is gonna have you're gonna be like, I am not looking at this at night. No, thank you. This is gonna be a daytime read. So if you need feedback, like that one time we did writing sprints at 3 a.m. my time.
Yeah, I'm gonna
might not
like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to send this at the crack of dawn, my time, so I have all of daylight to get through this. But also, if you are listening to this is also your reminder. I haven't said it in a while, but stretch, breathe, drink your water, get out of your chair, get food, Do whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. I am definitely in this next sprint going to be getting myself some snackage because I'm hungry and low key lightheaded. So I was just like, I've been drinking my water. What's wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, should probably eat, nourishment. So that is probably going to be what I'm doing in the next sprint. I don't know if I'm going to go for chips or I don't know. I don't know because I want food, like food, but I'm also
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm kind of in a flow, so I don't want anything that's gonna like get my hands messy, where I have to stop constantly to like dust the fingers, if that makes sense. I don't know, you guys. These are writer problems. Like, what can I eat that's not going to take too long so that I don't mess up my keyboard, right?
See, that's why I love a good like protein shake or a good something like that because it's nourishment, it's a bit of sustenance, it's liquid, and I can just drink, put it down, drink, put it down, drink, put it down. And I don't have to worry about my hands are holding a fork or potentially spilling anything and then being like, now I gotta go wipe my pants because I got something on my,
Yeah.
whatever. So
Eh,
I'm clumsy like that, so it's a
Thank
problem.
you. Can I have a paper towel too? Thank you. Ben brought me chips.
Ben for the win.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I like him. So I have chips. I guess I'll be snacking on those for my next sprint. Benjamin, did you eat the rest of the donut holes? I would also like to know that as well. But
Important questions.
yes,
Very important questions.
things that we need answers to. But but yeah, are we sticking with 25-minute sprints? Do you want to up them or how you feeling?
I am digging the 25-minute sprint. I'm still
See the
getting
donut
to
holes?
where the character dies,
Huh?
but
Can I have them? Yeah. Okay. Can you bring them? Thank you. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Food. Sorry. 25 minutes.
oh yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
25 minutes is good. Still working through this death scene, but yes, the 25 minutes is doing me good.
Okay, so we will stick with that. My goal is to finish off the scene and then start the next one. This chapter is getting kind of long. Um, so, did you only leave me two? That's fine. Thank you. This scene is getting kind of long, so my goal is to kind of like wrap it up and go to the next one because the next scene is with Brandy and Boo Buddy. That I feel like that one's going to slow me down a little bit, only because I have to figure out the logistics of a couple of things, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, that's what's been getting me with this one, but we got it. We can do it, and I am ready.
awesome. So, you guys know how this works at this point. So 25 minutes on the clock. Gonna put some chill hop on. And when you hear me come back on the mic, that means time's up. So come back and let us know what you did. But in the meantime, in between time, happy sprinting, you guys.
Premeditated murder.
All right, you guys, that is it for that sprint. So, as always, let us know what you did, how you did, all of that good stuff. And also, your free reminder to like breathe, stretch, drink some water, get some snacks, take care of yourself, do whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. 10-minute break. So, yeah, how'd you do?
392.
Awesome. I don't think I did. Well, not even I think. I know I didn't get as many words that time as I got my previous ones, but I was also like eating chips and the last of these donuts, and then I also had to take a bathroom break. So, doing the things I tell you guys to do. Take care of yourself. I got 357 that time. So, but
Nice.
I think five, six, I think if I really focus, I could probably hit my word count goal with the next sprint.
Yeah, I think this next one would be a good one to round it out. I feel like cause hold on, I just did the math and let me forget. I'll definitely hit 2000, which is a good. I think I was at 17 something. Not me clearing my calculator, so I don't know what my word count was.
It happens.
It's obnoxious. Obnoxious.
Okay. Let's see here. As I said, 728 words and smashed through my 2,000 word goal. Awesome. Congratulations. Little claps. I don't like blow out your ears, but congrats. Afroface said try doing some brainstorming. Awesome. I know you said that you're trying to figure out what you want to happen to bring everything together. So like I understand that. It's like it's kind of fun when you have different storylines, but then also there's that moment where it's like, okay, all these storylines kind of have to tie together at some point. So you got this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in you. And yeah, I think next sprint is I'm hoping it's going to be the last because I am definitely my day is starting to catch up to me. And I think I could use some extra food. Like the snacks are helping, but I think I need like food, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, after this, I'll need to make lunch and probably work on my script for my video over lunch and then go from there. Probably make some more coffee or something.
sounds like a plan.
Yeah, still just chugging along to Saphira's death. I feel like it's I like what I got. Might change in the rewrite, but I like this direction,
That's good.
I think.
I'm glad because it's like I feel like that's like one of the hardest things, and also, um, Numa, Newman. I think I think that's Mama Maggie. I think, but hello, stopping in for a drop to drop a like and get the view time. So hello, welcome, thanks for stopping by, and thank you for liking the video. I appreciate it. It helps the algorithm. And if you're watching this in the future, please go ahead and do that. Helps with the algorithm. But yeah, yes, Mama Maggie. I thought so. I I wanted to make sure, but I was like, I also didn't want to like call you out of your name. So, welcome. Glad you could stop by. But no, like I'm with you on like that moment where you're like the wording itself could probably change and shift and like revisions and stuff, but like the content, that moment where you're like, this is the direction I want to go in, this is what's going to happen, like this part of the story at least is like decided on. I feel like that's half the battle. At least with me, it's just kind of like, okay, where are we going to go from here? you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you have decided on a direction.
Yeah. I guess to give a little bit of a spoiler indication, so instead of making it covert that the, I'll say, fiance had something to do with it, I'm just going straight up, she knows who is responsible for ending her life. And why? to a certain extent. Debating if I want to do the classic villain monologue. Uh, I might, I might skip it.
I mean,
You know.
I could see it, but I think I think if you did, it would add like a level of humor to the story. But like also, I can understand why you want to be like, nah, we're not. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that.
Right. So I'm not telling the full detail of the reasoning. It's more of she knows that she's going to be looking this person in the face when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
She knows who also is the accomplice
Mm,
you and I
gotcha.
have discussed. And that the reasoning why the accomplice is accomplishing. Complicit. Accomplishing, that's not a word. Complicit. We'll say that.
Why they're in on it. Got you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That adds a new level of depth and intrigue to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And it's happening outside of the house. There's, you know, I'll send you this section probably later today or tomorrow, and you can let me know what you think. But I'm enjoying what I've got so far.
Cool, cool. I am definitely down for it. I will. It'll probably have to be tomorrow because just so you guys know, today, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is it 7 p.m.? I think it's 7 p.m. Let me not lie to you. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sister Sci-Fi has a Instagram live, Wind Down Wednesdays, and she is going to be interviewing Lizelle Sandberry today. And also, I'm going
Hmm.
to be joining representing the Melanin Library. So that's going to be fun if you guys can check that out. So, that being said, I probably, if you send it to me today, I probably won't be able to get to it till tomorrow. But um, yeah, yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I finished Delicious Monsters last night, and y'all, it is so good. Like I'm gonna make a whole video on it, but it was so good. And normally my attention span is like on the shorter side, but like I loved every page of this book. Like I don't. There are a couple of things that I will talk about in my video, but like 98, 99% of this book is absolute perfection. Like it was really 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 good. So if you like haunted houses, if you like thrillers, if you like ghosts, this is definitely one to get into. It does come with a couple of content warnings that she lists in the front of the book, but it's if they're not one of your triggers, absolutely pick it up. It was wonderful. It came out yesterday. Yesterday was an official release date. So
Would you say that it's got some horror elements because that's definitely one of the ones I'm trying to push for horror host support group.
absolutely. There are definitely horror elements. It's psychological thriller. So basically, you know at the beginning that there's a dead girl, and you're trying to figure out what happens, and it's told from two different perspectives, 10 years apart. Um,
Mm.
Looking into the same the same thing, and it's the way it's written and the going between the two perspectives is so seamless, and it adds information at just the right time, so you're like, oh, what you think you thought you knew is not what you think you know, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. It's really good. I would absolutely recommend it. I received an arc of it, but I'm definitely probably, if I can spring it in the budget, going to get a hard copy because it was good. I want the hard back, so I'm gonna see if I can, if there are like signed editions anywhere, and if there are, I'm gonna get that. But if not, then I will find it from an indie bookstore. I know that Resist Booksellers has it. They are a black owned bookstore, and I always recommend, buy black owned when you can and support an indie bookstore before you support Amazon. But it was really good. It was really really good. So
Okay. It's on my list when I have budget for books. That is on my list as well as this book called She is a Haunting, which is like a Vietnamese. It's like a haunted house set in Vietnam.
mm-hmm.
Vietnam, and that also came out yesterday.
Ooh,
So it's like two great haunted house stories by a black author and a Vietnamese author.
oh yeah, go for it.
We're winning. We're winning.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get more into like my psychological thriller, mystery, horror. Just like I want to read more diversely than just like fantasy and romance, which is like the bulk of my reading experience. So I've been trying to diversify, and so far I have not been disappointed. Like all of my forays into like I'll say mild horror because I don't read like heavy horror, but like I really liked Year of the Witching, I really liked Within These Wicked Walls, and I really liked, you know, Delicious Monsters. And I'm just kind of like, maybe this is something I can get into. We'll see. We'll see.
I recommend Nana by Brandon Massey. That's one of my favorite books of all time. It's horror, but I wouldn't say it's like keep you up at night horror. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like a monster horror, but there's moments of just campiness in it. Definitely recommend listening to the audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
The audio narrator is so great. Um, basically it's like this this couple, Troy and Monica. Monica's grandma, who raised her, dies.
Mm-hmm.
At the funeral, this random woman shows up who looks just like Monica but older, and she realizes this is her birth mother, who she's never met.
Oh.
And so right away, Monica's like, "Oh my God, it's my birth mom. I gotta bring her home. She's gotta come visit Nana,
Mm-hmm.
right?" Who their kids start to call Nana, and Troy instantly doesn't like her, doesn't trust her. Um, and stuff starts to happen that makes you get with his side, even though he's a shitty person. He's cheating on his wife. He's not a present dad. Like, he's a trash person objectively, but he also is right. So there's the unreliable characters, unlikable characters, but also this horror thing that's happening to Monica and the grandma and all of these different things. It's really good.
I'll have to check check it out. Um, I got another arc in the mail. So this one is Jump by Brittany Morris. So this one comes out March 7th. So
Mm.
going to read this one and do a review for it as well. So that's next up on the list. And this one's she has a lot of books. Like I know she wrote Slay, but like her books in general are very like I don't know. They're like YA, but like in the moment, kind of how like To a Sarah was with you is like social commentary, but in like a unique way.
Yeah.
Her books
Mm-hmm.
tend to be like that, so I'm excited to get into this one because I bought Slay, but this is gonna be like my first time really like reading her book. So this is me promoting it. Go get the book, you guys. But let's jump into this sprint. I'm not gonna lie. I am going to very much try to get my word count in this next sprint. Because I'm tired. But
Works for me.
yeah, I have to finish up this scene. Um, I needed I need to like a way to wrap it up and introduce this character who, um, I think the reader will recognize who it's supposed to be, like off jump, but it's someone that Sarah hasn't met or hasn't been introduced to, so she has no idea, and so I am trying to like find a way to like end this up and just be like this is who this character is, and then like move on. So we'll figure that out. But um, as before, you guys, 25 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to be playing some chill hop. So get whatever it is that you need to get done, and we will check in with you guys in 25 minutes. So happy sprinting.
Happy final sprinting.
All right, you guys, that is it. So let us know what you did, how you did, all of that good stuff. So yeah. Also, Afroface said she has to head out. So thanks for hosting sprints. Maybe see me later on the live. So awesome. Glad you could stop by. I hope you have a great, amazing, awesome rest of your day. And yeah, that's it, you guys. That's it. That was the last sprint.
What'd you get?
Let's see here. I have to do some mathing, so give me 2 seconds. Yeesh. I'm out here breathing like I ran a marathon. I need a definite break. That's for sure. Let's see here. Calculator. Okay, cool. I got 849 words that time. So I did meet my goal for today. I'm at 3,348 words. And I am solidly in the center of this scene. So I am really grateful for it. I didn't know which direction I was going to go with it because I was like, I don't know if you ever have this a problem, but like, I didn't know if I wanted to do a reveal here, if I wanted to like stretch it out longer, but I think learning from my mistake of like book 1, I was like, this is a good point for a reveal, so let's go ahead and go with this. So I'm writing it in, and it's fun. I know that there are things I'm going to have to go back and fix, simply because I know like with the state of mind that I'm in, the concept is there, but the execution is probably not the best right now. But the word count is there. Making progress. So yeah, what about you? How did you do?
623, which means I'm over 2,000 words for the day so far, which is great. I feel like I'm in a good rhythm, so I might come back to writing this. The section is long enough that I think I'm gonna wrap up the chapter with this section and then start the next one once she's dead. But I wrote her death scene.
Hey.
I finally wrote my main character's death scene that I have been struggling to write for months, and I'm actually really happy with it.
Hey.
I think it's fitting.
I love that. I love it. I'm so happy. I'm glad that the sprints got us both through like points that we needed to get through. So I'm excited. I'm excited for both of us. So yeah. But that being said, you guys, we are done. That was our last sprint. So just so you are aware, the link to Amanda's channel is down in the description box below, so be sure to check her out, subscribe. She does amazing author content as well as breakdowns of books and TV shows, and she's just an awesome person in general. So make sure that you subscribe to her channel. Also, if you haven't already, please go ahead and like this video. It helps the algorithm gods know that you like content like this, and it helps other people find it if they're trying to be productive. And if you're watching this in the future, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss when we go live. I will be doing more sprints tomorrow at my normal time, so Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because, like I said, I gotta get this book done. I gotta get it finished. So, also, if you do want a copy of We Are Dying Gods and you want to go ahead and pre-order it, there is a link down in the description box below, or you can always just go to cmlockhart.com and you can grab a copy from there. But yeah, you can get the first book, We Are the Origin, or you can pre-order We Are the Dying Gods, or you can do both. Whatever makes you happy. And if you're more of an Amazon person, my books are also available there for purchase and pre-order. So get into it. And also request it at your local library. All of my books are requestable, so even We Are Dying Gods is now up at Ingram Spark, so you can go ahead and request it from your library so that they can know that you want it and they can go ahead and pre-order it just like everybody else. Free way to support. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, Amanda, for joining me, for doing sprints with me, and yeah,
Thanks for having me.
absolutely, anytime. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I'm not going to continue to ramble. That's it for us. Thank you for sprinting with us, for being productive, and until next time, you guys, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, you guys.